Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I am Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good of marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I happen to save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call that icing on the cake. Now, the mission at Marketing Pulpit Show is to build strong businesses in our community so that we can put our people to work. And we do that with business development, job creation, and service. So if you ever find yourself in a business crossroads and not sure which way, another Friday, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I'm Robert Gatewood, and I am a business developer. That's right. I help companies succeed in business. And this show, Marketing Pulpit, is a part of my mission to help build these businesses in our community so they can be successful. I get so tired of these failures, but they have an old saying, why curse the darkness when you can be lighting the candle? So this show is my way of lighting the candle. Instead of complaining about it, I'm trying to do something about it. I have a pretty active company, Gatewood Marketing and Web. We're helping companies all over the world get their businesses in order, put their websites up, get their social media strategies going, their branding, PR, you name it. And I'm glad to be here to bring some of this same service to you at no cost, because that's part of my mission. Some things are so important that you can't use the excuse that you can't afford it. All right, we got an exciting show today. Matter of fact, if I have a few bags under my eyes, more so than normal, last night I was doing a course at Prince George's Community College on networking. So I've had a very busy and active course load this month. And luckily last night was the last one, probably until the summer, so I can get a little rest. But I feel like I've accomplished something because the students were very complimentary, and so I'm glad to be able to deliver that information to students. I'm glad to do it through my books. I'm glad to do it through my SBA consultations. I'm glad to do it through this show. And any way I can get this message out here, thank you again for tuning in. Let's see, we've got an exciting show today. As a matter of fact, we're going to have a special guest today, Minister of Wellness, Nathaniel Jordan. He's going to drop some knowledge on us about health and wellness. And that's coming up in the next segment and later in the show. If you have a Facebook account and you're saying, when am I going to start making some money? Well, I'm going to give you some tips on how to monetize Facebook. You think the only way to make money on Facebook, some of you, is to sell products. The real money is being made a different way. And I'm going to share that with you coming up later in the show. So we're going to talk about monetizing Facebook. We're also going to talk about some of the security measures you might need to put in place, because Facebook, like many of these platforms, they're constantly being hacked and people's identities are being stolen. So we're going to talk about that. So if you're a ardent Facebook fan, supporter, user, you want to check out the last segment of the show today. We're going to talk about monetizing Facebook. So we have an exciting show lined up here. We got a couple of items in the news. We are also mourning the death of Harry Belafonte. I really like that guy. He was Mr. Deo. He was actually born Harold George Belafonte with an I in 1927, March 1st. And he was an American singer, actor, activist who popularized calypso music to international audiences. He was one of the few performers to get the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. Now, he was also a very ardent civil rights and confidant of Dr. Martin Luther King. He was in the civil rights movement, and he was a vocal critic of the policies of George W. Bush and the Donald Trump administrations. Brother Belafonte, you will be sorely missed, and so you will always be in our memories. All right, so let's see what else is going on in the news. Well, the simultaneous firings of Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon have rocked the world of broadcasting. Now, Carlson, of course, he was an unabashed supporter of the ultra-conservative wing of the popular sphere. He was also supported by some of the most violent and right-wing conspiracy spewing theorists. And so he has, some of the people are mad that he was fired, and others are celebrating like ding dong, the witch is dead. And then Lemon, he was accused of sexism and ageism when he suggested that presidential candidate Nikki Haley and former governor was past her prime during one of his broadcasts. Now, what he was doing, he was responding to Haley's suggestion that President Joe Biden was past his prime and was unqualified to be a candidate for re-election. And so Lemon was responding to her response. So it really was kind of taken out of context. I see what he was trying to say. But in an age of sound bites and TikTok, and you've got like, when somebody can clip 15 seconds to make their point, certain topics is just dangerous to even tackle. So that's why last night in my course, we were talking about some of the titles to stay away from doing your networking, and politics and sex and race. Those are some hot topics. So you have to remember when you're talking and texting, and in this day and age right now, people will grab a 15-second clip to make it their point. It's almost like how people use the Bible now. People find a one passage, or one paragraph, or one sentence to try to make their point instead of giving the entire story. So just a little word to the wise of people out here who are on the air, on these Facebook and TikToks and LinkedIn and Twitter accounts. Just kind of be aware that somebody's out there waiting to use your words against you. Jamie Foxx is apparently recuperating from a heart attack. He's been hospitalized now for a few days, and he was in the middle of shooting the movie. But instead of waiting for him to finish the movie, they actually put in a body double. In other words, to them, the show must go on. So that's to all the people out there who feel like they are indispensable, irreplaceable, working yourself to death. Not. And as soon as you take a pause, they ready to put somebody in your place. So just be another word to the wise. I thought it was an interesting story. Kind of made the news today. New research suggests that French fries may be linked to depression. How can a good old delicious French fry? I may have to ask Brother Jordan about that one. They're greasy, starchy, and they're fattening, but they're comfort food. But research by a group in China found that frequent consumption of fried foods, especially fried potatoes, was linked to 12% higher risk of anxiety and 7% higher risk of depression. I must admit, I get a little depressed when my fries get cold before I get home. So you have to eat them while you're driving. Or sometimes you get a bad batch where it's not hot enough. That will be depressing, but I'm pretty sure that's not what you're talking about. Let's acknowledge some people before we bring on our guests. Got a few people tuning in. Let's kind of acknowledge some people who are chatting up in the feed. Mr. Gerald Brown, the greatest plumber in town. Thank you for joining us. Brother Brown, I see Platinum, the comedian. Thank you, Platinum, for hanging in there and being a big supporter. Attorney Bradley Thomas, one of my favorite attorneys in the world, has his own show on Thursday mornings, and he's a great IP attorney. I also see Idea Gear, Brother William Maxwell tuning in. He said he had a chance to meet Brother Belafonte back in 2000. And Platinum said, that's being funny. I'm making, well, sometime Platinum, I will get a good, I will say something funny every now and then. I don't know. Depends on who you ask. Let's see what else we got going on. We're going to bring in our special guest, Minister Nathaniel Jordan. Wonderful, phenomenal young man. And he's been a supporter of the show. And a matter of fact, he was working with Brother Rock Newman. They had a big event about a month or so ago. And he's back to finish the job because the job is never done. This brother he's determined to help us with our health. And I'm not going to try to tell the story. I'm going to bring him in. So hang on a second. Let me get Brother Jordan on the line here. So hang on. Let me get my audio set up here. And Brother Jordan, are you there?
Yes, I am. Brother Robert, can you hear me?
Brother, I hear you loud and clear. Thank you for joining us this morning. I've been following you lately and looking at some of the things you've been doing. And man, I'm telling you, you are a brother that people need to hear more about. And that's why I'm proud to bring you onto the show today. And so welcome to the Marketing Pulpit. Why don't you do this? Just give us a quick first thing I just want to ask you, because I have to ask everybody this. How did you hear about the Marketing Pulpit?
I heard about it from Brother William Maxwell. He's my book publisher.
Okay. Man, I'm telling you, one thing.
He's been long time, right? Yes, sir. Long time businessman in the DMV area. He does my books and anything that has to related to graphics. William Maxwell Graphics. Real good brother.
William is the man. Yes, I've been working with William a long time, and he's been very supportive of the show. And glad that you all have been able to connect. Well, let me ask you this, brother. What tell us about what it is that you do and what motivated you to get into this line of work in the first place?
What I do is I teach Black people how to heal themselves.
All right.
I teach it, of course, all people, but I have a specific focus on our people because of the tremendous health disparities, because we don't understand the physiological differences that come with being melanated people. That's why our diseases are worse. So my mission is to teach our people how to heal, especially healing according to God's way of healing, his system of health and wellness. So that's my mission. I started when I lost 100 pounds of reverse heart disease back in 2012 when I was a St. Louis City police officer. That's when I started. I was motivated to lose 100 pounds reverse heart disease and change the way I eat. When my father, the late great pastor Eddie Jordan Jr., may he rest in peace, he ate himself into 9 strokes and death at age 66. He didn't even get to enjoy retirement. He didn't get to enjoy spending time with his wife for 40 years because the addictive drugs that these sorcerers put in these junk foods was too strong for him to overcome. That's why there's not a single Black person listening to this or in this nation that does not either currently themselves or know someone who is suffering from heart disease, diabetes, cancer, stroke, autoimmune disease. Not one single 45 million Black people, but yet I can host a free event telling you how, if you change away from your fried chicken and your French fries and your potato chips, I can heal you quickly. I have to be on 60 Minutes just to get half the room filled. But if I do a lecture about, here's what the white police are doing to our people, it'll be a whole room for it. Let's not even talk about it. We host a comedy show.
Brother Jordan, hang on, hold to that thought. We're going to take a quick break. I want you to finish that thought when you come back. Folks, you're listening to Minister of Wellness, Brother Nathaniel Jordan. We're going to take a 1-minute break. We'll be back in a moment. This is the Marketing Pulpit. Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I am Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good of marketing gospel. All right, we're back. We are back. We have as our special guest today, Minister of Wellness, Brother Nathaniel Jordan, and we have his. We're going to have him give out his information a little later on how you can reach out to him. But I do have a couple of more questions because I find his brother rather intriguing, and he's talking about things that we should do, particularly in the Black community, to safeguard our health and to change some of these ways that have really caused us to have shorter lifespans and all types of ills that seem somehow to be unique to our community. Now, Brother Jordan, you call yourself the Minister of Wellness. How'd you come up with that moniker?
God gave that to me. I didn't. He gave it to me in 2015, and he told me to quit the police department, and I've been doing it ever since. So I had a divine experience where the Most High, Creator of the universe, spoke that title to me. Minister means to serve. Wellness is all areas of health, mental, physical, spiritual, and
Right. Now, what is the mission of your organization? What is it that you hope to accomplish?
Biblical principles that eradicate obesity and all disease. There's only one way to get healed. We have to stop depending on our enemies and oppressors for healing because they don't have no answers. Man doesn't have answers to what God has created. We must eat his medicine foods, fruits. Eat your fruits, juice your vegetables, take in your herbs. I have a mountain, a wealth of information on my YouTube channel, The Minister of Wellness, teaching people to reverse a variety of diseases. I help Rock Newman lose 75 pounds, reverse diabetes. I've helped brothers get off dialysis. I help people heal their kidneys, they heal their livers, to overcome stroke paralysis. This is not complicated. What's complicated is that we worship a system that offers us a pill for every ill. It taps into our basal instincts of laziness and convenience, and then it's mainly because we don't want to stop eating the foods that we're addicted to. The food is like heroin. They've made food, the same drugs that they use to make heroin, crack cocaine, meth, and fentanyl, and opioids addicting. I'm telling you, they put the same chemicals in the food.
Let me ask you this, brother.
And that's why.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
I was going to say, now you have a background in the military and law enforcement, and I'm sure they encourage discipline. It build this discipline within you. And correct me if I'm right or wrong, that discipline you were able to segue into your dietary regimen. What about people, the average people who are in society now, particularly in our community, that seem to lack the discipline to do what they need to do to get their health in order?
Well, see, the thing is that my goal is that because willpower can't beat the satanic American diet. The military is struggling now with they've lowered their fitness standards, and then most police are fat and sick. When I lost 100 pounds as a police officer, I had to go through hearing a lot of hate from losing that type of weight. So no one can beat this. This is the greatest drug, this is the greatest addiction, the greatest weapon that anybody has ever faced in their life. So this is something, it needs to be illegal. My goal is that, here's what the pharmaceutical and food industry, this is why they're so afraid of a voice such as mine. My goal, Brother Robert, is that if everyone comes to the knowledge that eating hot dogs, processed meats, ham, and club sandwiches is just as deadly as smoking a pack of cigarettes, there should be a black box warning on this garbage. And so just like the tobacco industry took a mountainous hit when people learned the truth, the same thing needs to happen to this garbage to where people just stop supporting it. Because as long as you give people an option to eat themselves to death, and it's legal and it's ubiquitous and it's marketed ferociously, this is a machine that can't be overcome just by simple willpower.
You know what, brother?
So
I wrote a book a few years ago called Played in Full, and I dedicate a section on diet. One of the ways that we are being played as a community. I think I coined the phrase, we are sucker for the sucker. And the word is SUCCOR, which is supposed to be people that's supposed to help you. But some of these same people that we turn to for nutrition and guidance are actually part of the system that's causing the problem. And so that's why your message is so important this morning. In the sake of time, you do provide services that can help people get on the right track and to find their way from this darkness, this world of dietary darkness. How can people actually reach you to get more information and maybe take advantage of your services?
Absolutely. Well, theministerofwellness.com is my website, theministerofwellness.com, and hopefully it's okay to state that I do have two best-selling books, and I actually have a 2-for-1 special that I'm doing for this weekend only. Is that's theministerofwellness.com under books, biblical principles to eradicate obesity and all disease. The full meal plan you need is in that book. Lose 100 pounds in 100 days will teach you how to quickly lose weight. I have a 2-for-1 going. and that's theministerofwellness.com, or you can call 888-847-8026. That's 888-847-8026 to take advantage of the 2-for-1 on both best-selling books before that ends. I'm just doing that just to finish off the month of April. Not too late to get yourself together for summertime. Now, and on all other social media.
I was going to say you have an event coming up too. Is that correct?
I do have an event coming up May the 6th in St. Louis, Missouri. So if someone happens to be in St. Louis, Missouri, yes, I have an event where my lecture is going to be focused on the fact that they keep on talking about the Tuskegee experiments like that was just some one-time outlier, never again happened experimentation on black folk. And no, absolutely not. So that's next Saturday, May 6th. But you can listen to the live stream, theministerofwellness.com. Theministerofwellness.com. Make sure you're on my email list. Okay. Or again, 888-847-826. So if you can't come in person to St. Louis, you can view the live stream. That's next Saturday, May the 6th, Tuskegee 2023. Oh, yeah, it's still happening.
And yes, we are heard all over the world, so I'm sure there's some people out there in that community that will be hearing this message. So hopefully they'll turn out and really spread the word. Now, you also have some consultation services and so forth. Can they find that information on your website as well?
Yes, sir. I do consultations for as little as $25. Theministerofwellness.com. Theministerofwellness.com. When I was out in D.C. March the 18th, we had a brother came from New York, told me he went on the red fruit hillet, and then within 2 weeks reversed dialysis. I had a sister that was 74 years old, said she had been suffering severe pain for rheumatoid arthritis. She came and told me within 5 days on a fruit fast, she is pain-free for the first time in over 10 years. I've been doing this full time for 7 years. Okay, I don't have any degrees. I would be back in that patrol car if I didn't know what I was doing. If I wasn't killing people, I wouldn't be able to have done this 7 years. Me and Rock Newman are in official business capacity. I don't just work with him from time to time anymore, Brother Rob. We have solidified an official business partnership, and we are about to take this message across this entire planet because he believes in this mission, and then also the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan believes in it also. So this knowledge is about to spread quickly, and the reason why it has to spread quickly is because a far worse pandemic is on the way. Again, I'll talk about all of that May 6th.
All right.
I'll go into great detail, and most importantly, solutions.
Well, thank you, Brother Jordan. So glad to have you on the show. Folks, you can also find Brother Jordan in the Marketing Pulpit Business Directory, MPI.BZ, where he'll be posting his events and some of his specials coming up. And keep an eye on him there, and also the web address. Give that out one more time, Brother Jordan.
And that's theministerofwellness.com, theministerofwellness.com, 888-847-8026. 888-847-8026. It's an honor to be a part of the Marketing Pulpit family, Brother Robert.
Thank you, brother. We'll have you back soon, okay? Folks, that's Minister.
Yes, sir.
Minister Jordan, and glad to have him on the show this morning. I'm going to quickly touch on the topic, and we may have to pick it up again next week. But I did want to quickly, because this has caught the attention of so many people of what's going on Facebook right now. One, there's a safety issue going on. They have decided to do a verification process similar to what Twitter has. And so they're offering a blue check mark. And the reason people are jumping on these blue check marks, not so much for status, but for security reasons, because with the blue check mark, you have to verify who you are, and that kind of helps prevent some of the hackers. And they're supposed to do some preemptive hacking, and also they will actually provide a phone number, which has been one of the complaints of Facebook for years. So when you get on their blue chip, then you can actually reach a person when you have some type of issue. But I also want to touch on monetizing your Facebook account. Right now, if I'm going to give you this one tip, and then we'll pick it back up next week. If you have a large following and you have a regular profile, what I like you to do is go to your profile settings and go down to the bottom. There's a link that says turn on professional mode. So So when you turn on that professional mode, all those followers that you have been using, you thought you had to use a business page to do some of the things that the business page allows, such as monetizing and running ads and boosting. You can also do that on your personal profile by just turning on the professional mode. So I want you to consider that, particularly if you have if you're a content creator, you have a lot of content, that's something you want to consider. And we'll pick this back up next week on how to monetize your Facebook account. Folks, this is the Marketing Pulpit. Thank you again, Minister Jordan. And if you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you have to do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work. When you have a conflict going on, if you want to shut that person up, I'm telling you, sit there and listen. Let them talk themselves out. And somehow, I've said this many times, some of the greatest problems in the world have been solved through listening. Listening also does this. It shows respect. When you sit there and listen to a person and sit there and give them the time and the due, it is a sign of respect. It lets them know that their thoughts and feelings are important. If you're listening, but if you're sitting there yapping when they're trying to talk to you, that can actually come across as very disrespectful. Okay? If you have a jacked up idea that's never going to get off the ground, Robert Gatewood is going to tell you. All right, don't get mad at me now. I'm telling you, I'm saving you some heartache down the road. Let me tell you something else I'm saving. I'm saving the folks that you might do damage to if you get out here, start a business, and not taking it seriously, and people are transferring their accounts over to you. They're giving you their personal information, their financial information. They're trusting you because you told them you were in business, and they took you at your word. Don't betray that trust. So if you're going to go into business, let's go into it the right way. If you're not sure, right here, Marketing Pulpit Show, I'm going to tell you how to do it. Well, there is some truth to that saying that all money is not good money, because there are certain things you have to consider. Sometimes you get a client that's just simply underfunded. They have big aspirations, but small bank accounts. Sometimes when that happens, you have to say, thanks, but no thanks. I'm good. Now, I probably turn down more business for this reason than any other reason. My purpose is not to get quick as rich as you can, everything else be damned. That does not align with my purpose, because I'm dealing with a greater calling. I'm about building businesses. I'm about putting people to work. I'm about building an economic foundation in our community. I'm about uplifting people. If you are in an industry, or if you have a service that is not aligning with that, I'm going to have to say thanks, but no thanks.